The Boys Over Flowers cast looked like they had perfect lives, but the reality was shocking. One star lost $13 million in legal battles over violence accusations. Another was sleeping in parking lots while attending one of Korea's toughest universities. A cast member's husband got blackmailed for millions while she was pregnant. And one actor completely vanished for 5 years after a family tragedy. Today, we're uncovering what really happened to each cast member after the cameras stopped rolling. Lee Min-ho. In 2006, Lee Min-ho was just starting to build his career. He wasn't a superstar yet. He was just a young actor on a road trip with his friends, excited about what might come next. But one car ride changed everything. The vehicle crashed while heading to Gangwon province. The 2 people in the front seats died instantly. Lee Min-ho and his friend Young Il-woo were in the back and barely survived. Lee fell into a coma for a month. When he woke up, his body was broken. He had multiple fractures in his ribs, thigh, and ankle. His knee was torn. A 46 centimeters metal pin had to be inserted in his thigh, and one of his legs was left permanently shorter than the other. For the next year, he couldn't walk, act, or even stand without pain. At that moment, his dream of becoming a star nearly ended before it had the chance to begin. That's why his rise after the accident felt so unbelievable. When he finally landed the role of Gu Junpyo in Boys Over Flowers, no one could see the pain he had lived through. The character became iconic and Lee Min-ho became the face of a generation. But the success didn't mean the danger was over. In 2011, while filming City Hunter, he was in another car crash. The trauma from that accident made his past injuries worse, and it would affect him again later in life. When the time came for his mandatory military service, he couldn't serve as an active duty soldier because of those injuries. From May 2017 to April 2019, he worked as a public service officer at the Suso Social Welfare Center. Some people questioned his military path, but few understood the physical pain he still carried from years ago. Then came something no one expected. In 2022, he stepped into Hollywood with the series Pachinko. It was bold, dramatic, and deeply emotional. His performance didn't just impress his longtime fans, it stunned critics. The New York Times, Rolling Stone, and Collider all ranked his episode among the best TV moments of that year. It was no longer just about looks or charm. It was proof of how far he had come as an actor. But even with success, Lee Min-ho has shared how hard it is to carry that spotlight. He said, being at the top for 12 years came with pressure that made him feel like one mistake could ruin everything. In recent interviews, he admitted that sometimes he feels like he could fall at any moment. In July 2025, he revealed something even more personal. After losing his dog, he said he cried for days. It made him realize how lonely fame can be and how much he now dreams of getting married by the time he turns 40. Even with all the emotions behind the scenes, his business side is stronger than ever. He represents 11 major brands and covers 27 different product categories. From Hugo Boss to Fendi to Cuckoo, he's everywhere. His face is trusted by millions across Asia, and that makes him one of the most in-demand celebrities for endorsements. Now, he's preparing for something huge again. His new film Omniscient Reader has a $30 billion budget and marks his return to movies after almost 10 years. He says, the pressure is different this time. Dramas come with weekly feedback, but a movie is a one-shot thing. He admitted that he feels burdened by how clearly the audience will judge his work. Still, he's stepping back into that world with everything he's learned, all the pain he survived, and a heart that's still healing. Koo-hun, she was once the face of innocence on Korean TV, the girl every viewer rooted for. Koo-hun wasn't just a character in a drama. She was a symbol of hope. But her real life didn't follow a script. The fairy tale started falling apart in 2019 when her marriage to Anya Hyun crashed in the public eye. First they seemed like a perfect couple, even giving their wedding money to charity. But then private messages leaked. They showed a relationship full of bitterness, mistrust, and emotional collapse. Cooped him of emotional neglect, he said. She lied her way into his apartment and recorded him in his sleep. The situation got worse when it revealed he was on medication for depression and struggling financially. He had sold his home and taken loans to meet her demands. When the divorce was finalized in 2020, it left both of them bruised and fans stunned. But Koo didn't disappear. Instead she did something no one saw coming. She went back to school not just to pass time, but to excel. She returned to Sungkyung Kwan University where she had once dropped out and worked harder than ever. In February 2024, she graduated with a GPA of 4.27 out of 4.5. That's 97.7%. Most people would stop there. She didn't. She got into KAIST, one of South Korea's toughest universities with an acceptance rate under 15%. Getting a master's in science journalism. From there shocked even her critics. But her journey came with a price. She later admitted she had been sleeping in her car in parking lots because she had no stable place to live. The woman once seen as a pampered TV star was now a student living in her vehicle chasing knowledge in a world that once turned its back on her. Yet even that wasn't the end. In 2021 she patented a flat folding hair roller called the Goo Roll. It wasn't just a gimmick, it was a real invention. By mid-2025 she launched a company based on it. The same woman who had cried on Instagram years earlier was now teaming up with a KAIST chemistry professor to bring her idea to life. She became a startup founder with legal patents and a government-approved business certificate. It was a transformation nobody could have predicted. Kim Hyun-joon, who played the soft-spoken prince, became